guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to Ashart Books. Today I'm going to be doing my February Part 1 wrap-up. So I'm not going to include any of the books that I have read for the Romance Readers Readathon because technically it's still ongoing until just another day or so. But I'll talk about those books probably in my Part 2 wrap-up, or I'll do a separate wrap-up video, one of the two. But I have read a lot of other books outside of that already this month, so I thought I would go ahead and do a Part 1 wrap-up, and I'll talk about the books for the second half in a Part 2. So let's look at the books. So the first book I read this month was The Bow and the Bell by R.S. Gray. Oh, this was so cute. You guys, R.S. Gray can do no wrong. For me. She writes the best romantic comedies. This one takes place in New Orleans, and this one was really cute. So it's about a girl. Forgive me because I cannot remember the character's name. Well, I remember the guy's name, but I can't remember her name, but I loved it anyways. So she is living in New Orleans. When it starts off, she's 17, and her parents are from kind of the upper class, so she's got a lot of old family money, and they've got a beautiful old house like in the middle of the city. So, but she's not really spoiled or anything like that, which I fully appreciated. I loved that they were wealthy, but the parents were still good parents, and they still had a good family dynamic, and she wasn't like a spoiled brat. So anyways, so she's 17, and she's just kind of living her life. Well, then there is a he's a law student who rents their apartment out back of their house, and that's Beau. And so she basically becomes infatuated with him and thinks he is just the best thing ever. Well, obviously she's still a teenager and he likes her, but he's not going to do anything about it because she's underage. So it kind of just goes like from that. There's a bit of a flirtation and there's like a friendship that forms, but then something tragic happens and they're kind of torn apart and they don't see each other for 10 years. Well, they come back and she comes back to New Orleans and they see each other, and he's all of a sudden like, you're fair game. Like, you know, you're 20 something now, I'm 30 something now. And so he is all in. He's like, well, I like you, I liked you then, let's do this. And she's kind of the mindset of, okay, well, you didn't want anything to do with me before, so you can't just snap your fingers and think I'm gonna kind of fall to my knees and say yes. So basically that's where the story takes off, but it's so fun. I love the setting. I thought it was so much fun with the parties and the Mardi Gras and things like that. It's not like it's focused on that, but it's definitely part of the setting, and I thought it was really fun. It was funny. All her books are funny. They're funny without being like intentionally funny, if that makes sense. Like, the characters are just so relatable. They're things that you and I would probably do as well, but they're still really funny. I love these two together. It was definitely a push and a pull, like almost like she didn't want to give in type thing, and it was really fun to see the kind of that come to fruition. If you're looking for a good romantic comedy, definitely check this one out. I gave it 5 out of 5. The next book I read this month was Shadow of Night, and this is book 2 in the Discovery of Witches trilogy by Deborah Harkness. I read the first one back in the fall and loved it. So this one takes place directly where this first one left off. So obviously I'm not going to give too much about the plot because that would give too much away. But I will just say I really enjoyed this book. It was epic. I feel like that's a good word for this book, epic. It spanned so much, and so much happened in this book that it almost seemed like it was like 2 books in my head or something. I don't know. But just the character development of Diana and Matthew from where they started at book 1 till the end of this book, to me, was great. It was fantastic. I love Diana Bishop. I think she's one of the strongest female characters I've read. In this book, she really comes into her own as a witch and kind of just figures it out and figures out who she is, and really kind of it becomes more empowered, I guess. Matthew also has a lot he goes through. Obviously, as they kind of form as a couple, they both have a lot of things to figure out how to be together, because the vampire and a witch aren't really supposed to do that. They're not supposed to be together, so obviously there's no handbook on this, and they kind of have to just trial and error it. The setting for the second book, all I can say is that my history nerd heart was in heaven. It was so good. If you like history, you have to read the second book, and you have to pick up the whole series in general. Deborah Harkness just does it with the details, and you really feel like you're sucked into the setting and the world that she creates. I will say I did take off about 1 star because I gave it 4 out of 5, same as the first one for me. Because of the wordiness, it did at times become a bit wordy for me. I'm not someone who particularly enjoys very, very descriptive writing. I know that's kind of maybe not the most popular opinion. I do like world building and I like to feel like I'm there, but I don't like it when there's like paragraphs and paragraphs describing either an item or a place. I just get kind of lost and I feel like I'm not in the story anymore. I don't know why. That's just a personal thing. So there were certain times it was a bit slow and I wish it would speed up a little bit and get on to the action. Having said that, it was still a beautiful book and I loved it. I can't wait to start the 3rd one. I'm just kind of waiting for have a little bit more time because it is definitely a chunker and it takes a bit of time commitment, because once you start, you don't want to stop. So definitely pick up this series, everybody. The TV show is coming out soon. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see the characters come to life, so you guys check it out too. The next book I read this month was A Little Too Late by Stacey Hart. This is an adult contemporary romance and it was very cute. I've been wanting to read this one for a while because I love this cover. It probably isn't coming up very well on here because of the glare, but it's really pretty. So it really drew me in. So this is about a girl who is from, I believe, the Netherlands, and she's in America, in New York, being an au pair, a nanny, like a live-in nanny. And she goes to work. She has kind of a problem at her first job. Leave it at that, there's a problem. And so she gets re-sent over to a different household, and she's interviewed by a man, and he is I believe he's a lawyer, a very busy working lawyer with 2 small children whose wife has recently left him about a year ago, out of nowhere. She wants nothing to do with any of them, and she's abandoned them basically. So that's where the story starts off, and it was cute. I mean, I feel like that's all I can really say about it though. I don't remember that much, and I just read it a couple of weeks ago. It was fluffy, it was cute. I liked the characters well enough, but there wasn't anything like impressive, I guess. And I didn't feel anything for the characters. Like, there were points, especially near the end, where I know we were supposed to be like empathizing and really feeling like an emotional gut punch, and I didn't. And I'm a pretty empathetic reader. Like, typically I get really in and I'm a crier, but I just didn't feel anything for these characters. And so I kind of, because of that, gave it like a 3 star, 3.5. It was okay. If you want something cute and fun, definitely check her out. I'm definitely going to read other Stacey Hart books, and if you guys have read any, let me know which ones were your favorite. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I was in a weird mood or something. So anyways, let me know, but this one was just an okay for me. The last couple books I read were all in a series, so I'm just going to kind of talk about the first one mostly, and that was a book called Crossing the Ice by Jennifer Kume? I'm not sure how you say that, but this was a complete surprise for me. So I was on Instagram sometime last week, and someone posted that this was a series they really loved that would be great because of the Winter Olympics. And I love figure skating. It's been something I've loved to watch since I was really young. My mom and I always watched it together, got really into it. I cannot skate myself. I mean, I can like make it around a rink, but I'm not like a skater or anything. But I just love it. I love book setting in that kind of setting. I like cutting edge movies. Like, it's great. So I've been kind of on the lookout for kind of books that were about that because, you know, the Olympics, it's my mindset right now. So I decided to check this out, and I got the ebook and decided, okay, well, it'll probably be like a cute fluffy read, and like that'll be that. I was really surprised at how much I loved this book. So this is about a girl named Courtney, and Courtney is a figure skater, and she's a pairs figure skater. She's about 21. That's another thing I loved about this. It was kind of a new adult because the characters were 21 and 22 in this first book. I love that because you don't get that very much. Now, I will say it had a bit of the vibe of a young adult, and it definitely didn't have any kind of like sexual content or anything like that in there. So it's definitely like a clean read. But I love that they were older. So it follows her, and she's a pair skater with her partner Mark, and they have done pretty well. So it starts off when their coaches decide they're gonna bring in and start training another couple, but they're not a couple, they're a brother-sister duo of pair skaters. And they're not happy with this because the sister of the pair is kind of a royal B word, and no one really likes her, and she feels kind of betrayed that her coaches are bringing in these new people to coach. But you know, the coaches, who are amazing, I love their characters, are kind of like, you know, if you see what you're up against, you're just gonna need to strive to be better. And it's true. So it starts off there, and basically the story follows Courtney kind of forming a friendship, and later a bit of something else with the brother, Josh, of the new pair duo. I don't know what it was about this that was so darn addicting, but I read this one, which is like a normal sized novel, and then I read, there's 2 after this that are novellas. They're each about 150 pages each, in a day. I read them all 3 in a day, and I don't regret it. It was so good. Basically, it follows like their trials and tribulations as she is trying to compete with her partner against this new couple, and kind of all the emotions that have to go on, because she starts to really like this person, but she also wants that spot, and they're competing for the spot for the Olympics. So it's definitely like gut-wrenching at times, and I was into this. Remember how I said that I'm a crier? This one, I did feel for the main characters, and I was full on like sobbing at one point in this book. It's not like a sad book, but there are certain just things that you can relate to, like certain feelings of disappointment or anger or bitterness and things like that, that I was quite into it. But I really, really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend this if you're looking for like a new adult contemporary YA kind of mix that has figure skating and sports in it, especially right now with the Winter Olympics going on. This author also has a kind of another series that I didn't know about that takes place before this, that is about her coach and his, like the coaches together, and how they kind of came to be together because they're a married couple, which I will definitely be checking out. So I don't know, this is someone else. I've never heard of her before, but I hope she writes something else. Okay guys, so those are all the books I've read so far in February. It's been overall a pretty good month, and I felt like I've read some good books. Let me know what you guys have read, or if there's anything you've been like super disappointed in or anything like that. I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!